Toy Manufacturer, Part 2. Let's stop momentarily and see where we stand. Let's recap what is in the firm. That is, what the firm owns so far. Well, it has 7,000 euros at the bank. It has 1,000 toys ready for sale. It has, let's assume, no more raw material, that is, the inventories are only made of finished goods. It has a used van. It has a mechanical saw. All these are properties of the firm. It has some office equipment. And of course, it has something very important, an IOU from Carrefour, promising to pay 20,000 euros in a month and a half. IOU is some sort of an American pun, IOU, something that I must pay to you in the future. So these are called the assets of the firm, although they are not yet presented in a standard accounting way, of course. Are there other things that the firm has and which would contribute to its value? Well, yes, we have a know-how now that we have gained over the first few months. We have operations which run, and we can generate sales and profit. We have now a reputation, perhaps. We are considered reliable by our clients. We have a good name if things went well. But all these things, even though they should be taken into consideration, are not recorded in general accounting. Let's talk about the value of a firm, that is, the price someone would be willing to pay the present owners to become the new owner. Well, a firm, as we just saw, is more than a collection of elements, a collection of assets. It is a machine. It is a money-making machine, if it works well. And as such, it has more value, usually, than the sum of the collection of its assets. And we shall see that if the firm were to be acquired by a buyer, the buyer would be willing to pay more than the sum of its assets. And there will be two cases. The case where the firm is some sort of a standalone acquisition with no relationship with the activities of the buyer. And the other case is when the firm acquired, our firm, actually has links, interferences with the activities of the buyer. You may remember that in the fall of 2005, eBay purchased Skype. At the time, Skype was a small firm, something like 3 years old. It had a few $1 million of revenues, and it had only made losses in the past. Yet, eBay paid for Skype almost $3 billion. And we shall see that this made perfect sense for eBay to pay $3 billion for Skype. But this is things that we shall understand over the course of this general accounting course. Right now, let's go back to more simple stuff. I would like to make a side note on the valuation of the stocks, the inventories, the 1,000 finished toys. In my list of assets that I presented, I didn't put any monetary value on these things. In fact, there is these techniques to evaluate stocks. You may have heard of these famous words, LIFO or FIFO, and there are other techniques. These are techniques to evaluate stocks for the firm, value to the firm, because the market value of these finished toys are, you remember, 10 euros per toy. That's the market value for us. And at Carrefour, they will be sold at 20 euros per toy. What is the value to us? Selling these toys, we make hopefully a profit. Well, that's where these techniques enter the picture. And finally, the last steps. First of all, the 17th step. At the end of month 3, we saw that we ran out of raw materials, so we have to spend, say, 1,000 euros for new raw materials. At the end of month 4, we have to pay salaries and charges and expenditures or expenses. The expenses, suppose it's 1,500 euros, and the salaries, it's 600 euros, remember. But we only have at the bank, after having paid this, 6,000 euros. Well, the life is simple. So we pay the 1,500 euros of miscellaneous expenses, and we pay the 2 employees, and the boss will wait. Then comes the middle of month 5. We receive the 20,000 euros in cash from Carrefour, in cash or put into our bank account one way or another. And so life goes on, because the firm is a going concern. That is, it's a project with no end, unlike a project like building a bridge or something like that, with a beginning date and an end date.